Welcome to the Dreamers Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Pardo, and today I'm interviewing Tony Gonzalez, who is living his dream through music production. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Hey, what's going? Hey, what's going on, Joe? How you been, man?
I've been very well. I've been very well. Very well. I appreciate you coming on today to talk about
Yeah.
uh, the Maniac. Uh, talk about the Maniac agenda. To talk about the Maniac agenda. The Maniac. To talk about the Maniac agenda. The Maniac. The Maniac agenda. About the Maniac. About the Maniac agenda. To talk about the Maniac agenda and all your endeavors that you've gone and all your endeavors agenda and all agenda and all your endeavors and all your endeavors that you've gone through to lead you up to this point. Very well, very well. I appreciate you coming on today to talk about the Maniac agenda and all your endeavors that you've gone through to lead you up to this point.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I'm glad you brought me on.
This point.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I'm glad you brought me on because when I was first starting out, that's when we actually met up. So it's like it goes far back. So it's really cool to come on your show and discuss, what's been through the timeline since then. So yeah, the Maniac Agenda is doing some cool things right now. 'Cause we do music production, so we do produce other artists, but we also do live performances as well. So it's kind of like a two and for one kind of thing. And then we also do like our solo.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a two and for one kind of thing. And then we also do like our solo stuff.
Stuff as well within that. So it's a lot of different things that we have going on right now. So what questions do you have for me today?
Awesome. Well, let's jump right into giving some background about yourself.
All right. Well, my name's
My name's Antonio Gonzalez, and I started, DJing back.
uh, and I started, Dallas, and I started,
DJing back in, I'd say, early 2000s as DJ Satisfaction, which now I go by SAT, which is
as DJ Satisfaction.
which now I go by SAT, which is like kind of a shortened version of that, which was derived from that. I started off
Derived from that, I started off doing
doing hip hop production, so I did a lot of rap beats and stuff for a lot of the local artists. Where I actually met one of
where I actually met one of one of your former guests, Rich. One of your she met one of where I actually met one of your former guests, Rich. Where I actually met one of your former guests, Rich Quick, during that time when I was doing I was working for this record label. Doing I was work doing I was when I was working for I was work when I was working for this when I was working for this record label, Blackout Records.
Blackout Records. That was local hip hop label.
Uh, you know, Records. That was local hip hop label, and then I just kept doing it, and then eventually I won a contest for VH1 where I got a mentorship with Questlove from the Roots, and that really kicked off my career.
Because I learned a lot of awesome information about the business, about production and a lot of different
and a lot of awesome people there. A lot of awesome people and a lot of awesome people there and a lot of awesome people there that and a lot of awesome people and a lot of awesome people
there that helped set my career up so that I could do it for a living. And then what happened was I was doing production while I was doing hip hop production. My brother Dennis, he was doing like industrial and more electronic style production at this point. So then me and him eventually got together and started making music. Started making music in about 2007, I want to say, like 2006, 2007. I think like 2007, and that was great.
Like 2007, and that was great because at that point it was me and him were just learning.
We're just learning from each other. So I had all these new cool tricks I knew, and he had all these cool production tricks he knew. So he was like, "Oh, check this out," and then we would just trade tricks, and then we would just learn it
out, and then we would just trade tricks, and
we would just learn it together, and then we decided to.
And then together, we decided to start a group called the Maniac All-Stars. Now, the Maniac All-Stars was
like kind of like an electronic rock group. One of the thing that inspired us to do that was me and my.
The thing that inspired us to do that was me.
Me and my brother went to the Prodigy concert. The electronic group.
To the Prodigy concert. The electronic group from the UK, the big beat breakbeat group.
We saw them at the Electric Factory and we were like, wow, we could totally do this. Because it's like something that we've been passionate about. He's passionate about rock music. I'm passionate about rock music. And I love the broken beats and stuff like that. So once we saw them, we were like, let's start a project. And we started a project.
We started a project, like I was telling
before, the Maniac All-Stars. And we started just experimenting with all these different sounds. We were running everything through distortion. I remember we would just take there'd be tracks.
There'd be tracks where we would just take, there'd be tracks where we would run the drum. There'd be tracks, I remember we would just take, there'd be tracks where we would run the drums, the guitar, the vocals, everything just through distortion. And, we just kept getting really, distortion. We just kept getting
really experimental with it, and then we got some production credits under.
Experimental with it. We got some production
credits under the Maniac All-Stars, where we did official remixes for Cell Dweller for Fix Records. He's a very well-known multi-genre.
Multi-genre. A very well-known multi-genre electronic rock artist. And then I was still working for
VH1, and I was doing the backing tracks.
Doing the backing one, and I was doing the backing track one, and I was doing the backing tracks for the, and I was doing the backing tracks for the Hip Hop Honor Show at that time. So that was really cool because I got to do the really cool because I got to do the hip hop on the hip hop honor the do the hip hop. I got to do the hip hop honor. It was really cool because I got to do the hip hop honor show is where they do a tribute to do a they do is where they do a tribute is where they do a tribute where they do a tribute where they do a tribute to the is where they do a tribute to the tribute to originators of tribute to the originators of hip hop tribute to the originators of hip hop. So they would do mega mixes for the show, and then they would have other artists perform their verses for the person that they're honoring. My job was to take all the mega mixes and blend them together for the performance tracks. So I was doing that, and then what happened was in 2006. This is 2010. This is where 2006. This 2006. This is in 2006. This is 2010. 2010. In 2010. This is where things really took a turn. We got oh wait, not it was 2009. My bad.
Dude.
What happened was in 2010. We got oh wait, not it was 2009. My bad. 2009. My 2009. My was in 2009. My bad. We got to my bad. In 2009, we got in two. We got 2010. This is where things really took a turn. We got oh wait, not it was two. Oh wait, not it was. Oh wait, not it was two. Really took a turn. Oh wait, not it was 2009. My bad. We got to go. We won a contest for go. We won a con. We won a con. We my bad. We won a contest for doing a remix for this group, Telepath, and we got to play Camp Bisco.
Which is this really big, crazy music festival. Like 10,000 plus people come out to it. They get a lot of acts from a lot of different places, and it really showed us like the scope of like electronic. Because at this time, dubstep was not even around or existed. Well, it existed, but it was like more in the UK. It really didn't come over to America yet. And we linked up with this artist named Starkey, who was producing dubstep. He's from Philadelphia, but he's mostly known in the UK. And we learned about it, so we're like, hey, let's start incorporating this into our music. So at that point,
our music. Into our music. So at that
point, we started a new project that is now the project that we're working on, the Maniac Agenda, where we started incorporating dubstep into rock music, and then dubstep obviously took off, and then we took off.
We got. Took off with it where we got, and we took off with it where we took off with it where we took off with it where obviously took off with it where we got to do a lot of different production gigs for a lot of different people, and that's kind of like where we're at right now. And Like, I can just go in and tell you some of the things that we produced if you want to,
Yeah,
go into
sure.
that. We're at right now. Like, I can just go in and tell you some of the things that we produced if you want to,
Yeah.
Like, I can just go. Go in and tell you some of the things that we produced if you want to,
Yeah,
go into
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Unless you have
If you want to.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, some of the big ones.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you have
Yeah,
go into
sure.
that. We produced if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can just go in and tell you some of the things that we produced if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
Produced if you want. If you want. Some of the things that we produced
Yeah, sure.
if you want. If you want to. If you want to. The things that we produced.
Yeah, sure.
All right, yeah. Well, some of the big ones we've done. The biggest to date, I would say, is we co-produced. We
co-produced the Metal Gear Rising soundtrack, the video game, which did really well. It sold millions of records, like millions of copies. We
did it with Logan. Millions of records, like millions of records, like millions of records sold millions, like millions of copies, like millions of sold millions and millions of copies sold millions and millions. Well, it sold millions of copies. Millions of copies really well. It sold millions of copies. We really well. It sold millions of copies. We did it with really well. It sold millions of copies. Millions of copies. Sold millions of really well. It sold millions of sold millions of sold a million sold millions of copies. Did really well. It sold millions of copies. Did it with Logan Mader. He's a well-known producer from LA. He was in Machine Head. He was Machine Head in from LA. He was in Machine Head. He was in Soulfly. He was the guitarist in those bands, and now he's producing for the who's who of the metal and rock genre. So we worked with him and Jamie Christopherson.
Jamie Christopherson, who's did a lot of video game soundtracks before and movie soundtracks, and it was really, and then obviously the Platinum Games.
Obviously the Platinum Games, and it was really, and then obviously tracks. Obviously the Platinum Games, they're the company that was developing the video game at the
video game at the time. And we added a lot of the, the dubstep.
We added a game at the time. We added a lot of the, the dubstep or like more electronic elements.
And although there were ones in there, we took influences from like psytrance and breakbeat and a whole bunch of other genres of music that we put together for this soundtrack. And this video game was an offshoot from Metal Gear, which is a franchise that's very well known and established. So this was like
So this was like a lot of the fans of the franchise were iffy about it. They didn't know what to expect, so we had a lot of pressure on us as far as the music as well. But it did really well, and the feedback from the music was very, very taken very well, and it opened a lot of doors for us. And then we went on to do remix for us. We went on to do
remixes for other groups like
other groups like for other groups like mixes for other groups for mixes for other groups like Inner Party System. They're not a group anymore. They're not a group party system. They're not a group anymore, but they broke up, but they broke up, but they were on Red Bull Records anymore, but they broke up, but they were on Red Bull Records, and they were one of the groups that influenced me a lot, so it was great to work with them. Recently,
Recently we did Asking Alexandria.
We did Asking Alexandria. Recently we did Asking Alexandria. We did sound design and programming on their album. It went #1 in hard rock, #1
independent, and #5 overall on Billboard. So we did that last year. And then we did a remix for this group called Starset. They're this like electronic rock kind of group in a similar lane as us, but a little bit more on the rock side of things. And we did a remix for their debut album, and their album went #46 on Billboard. So, and then we did a lot of remixes and production for a lot.
Billboard. And then we did a lot of
remixes and production for a lot of other people as well, like artists, from all different levels. And then we have our original stuff that has been doing well on Beatport charts. Like we put out our first dubstep record.
Our first charts. Like we put out our first dubstep.
Our first dubstep record went #8 in dubstep overall. Then we put out an EP collaboration with this guy Randy Seidman, who's the tour manager for Infected Mushroom, who's a group that I love. They're from Israel. They're like a psytrance electronic group, and that went #1 in Chill Out, and #2 in Glitch Hop, and #10 I believe overall on Beatport. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of different things as far as that with the Maniac Agenda, which allowed me to branch off myself and do solo endeavors and develop artists and things like that, and do A&R. So I work as A&R for a record label now, Multi-Kill Recordings. So it's been a lot of fun. So just to be able to do all that stuff.
Wow.
It's great to see that you.
Do all that stuff.
Wow, that's a pretty extensive background. Extensive background. It's great to see. It's great to see that you were able to make all that happen after you were able to make all that happen after your time with VH1. What would you VH1? What would you say music production?
What would you say music production means to you?
I would say music production means to me. I would say it's different, because if you're producing an artist, what you're going to do is you're taking their vision and what they want to do. Different, because if you're producing an artist, what you're going to do is you're taking their vision and what they want to do, and help provide the path to get to to fulfill their vision using the technology and the production ideas. Because some artists you work with, they don't have any production knowledge or anything, any ideas about music. So what you want to do is kind of listen to them.
What you want music. What you want to do, music. Ideas about, anything, any ideas about any production knowledge or anything, any ideas or anything, any production knowledge, any ideas about ideas, any ideas about, music, music. Is about music. What you want to do is kind of listen to them and take what you feel that their vision is, what feel that their vision is, or what their vision is, or what their vision is, what their vision is, their vision is, what their vision is, or what they're trying to tell you, and try to paint, a picture in your mind and create, a sonic vision of what they are trying to create.
Now, as far as doing it yourself, like when you're producing
yourself, like when you're producing it yourself, like when you're producing, say, records for like
the Maniac Agenda.
Records for like the Maniac Agenda. That's kind of
more like an artistic.
That's kind of more like an artistic approach to production.
Although when you're working with an artist, it's artistic, but at the same time, it's also kind
of it's also, you have to, it's a little more of a give and take. So kind of, it's a little more of a give. Also, at the same time that it's, it's a little more of a give and take kind of thing, where artistic, but at the same time that it's, it's a little more of a give and take kind of thing, where there's usually a goal, where in the artistic realm of things,
there's not necessarily a goal sometimes. It's more, you're just creating music to have fun. You're just experimenting with new ideas, just taking whatever inside of you and just expressing it through audio. So production to me is definitely an art and a science combined, and I think it's really exciting because
it's really exciting because it's once you go out and you see and hear your music getting played, and you hear the reactions and you see how people take it, it's really good. Even if it's good or bad, it's still, because it's like a lifelong journey. It's like a lifelong. It's still, it's good or bad. It's like a lifelong journey of just figuring out how to combine sounds, and I feel very blessed and feel very blessed. I'm feel very blessed and feel very blessed to be able to do that for a living.
What would you say inspired?
Do that for a living. feel very blessed to be able to, do that for a living. Hmm. What inspires me? Obviously,
What would you say inspires you?
obviously, other artists do inspire me and other producers. I take influence from a lot of sounds. Like a lot, I like a lot of sounds. I like a lot of the I like a lot of the older material, like classic rock music.
Like Pink Floyd. I like trip hop, like Portishead, that kind of stuff. Even like 90s hip hop influences me. I love those dirty break beats. And then obviously dubstep influences me a lot.
And then break beats, obviously dubstep influence.
Obviously dubstep influences me a lot of those sounds. And then I take influence just from life and emotions, just trying to captivate that state of mind and emotion and invoking it into an audio recording to represent that emotion. Because we do, that's another thing, we do movie trailers. So when you're doing movie trailers, you're trying to
to represent that emotion. Because we do, that's another thing, we do to represent that emotion. Because we do, that's another thing, we do movie 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 trailers. So when you're doing movie trailers, you're trying to capture the emotion of what's going on in the film scene. So you want to be able to take this the
emotion and apply it.
Take this the emotion to take the emotion and apply it
in an audio setting. So I just take
inspiration from living life. I just take inspiration. I just take inspiration from living life.
So, how did music come about for you? For you.
Wow. That started when I was really.
Wow. That started when I was really young.
That started when I was. Wow. Well, that started when I was really young. Obviously, was piano. What happened? Was young. Obvious. Was young. Obvious. Really young. Was piano. What happened? Really young. Was piano. What piano. What happened was I used.
What happened was I used to break dance, and I was really involved in that. And I broke my wrist one time, and I couldn't break dance anymore. And I was really involved in that. And I broke my wrist one time.
And I broke my wrist one time.
And I broke my wrist one time, and I couldn't break dance anymore for a whole summer. And if you're like a little teenager, break dancer, and you break your wrist and you can't break it, it's like the end of the world. So my mom had a keyboard, and I would just play it every day, and I would just keep playing and playing, just making songs.
Every day, I would just keep playing and playing, just making songs and figuring
stuff out. My mom knew a little bit of music theory, so
she just taught me some basic things about it, and then I just took it from there, and then just brought it into what it is today.
Then I found
what it is today. Then I found dolls. Then I found DAWs, digital audio workstations. It's when you can make it with the computer. And then once I figured that out,
And then once I figured that out, we could hook up a keyboard to that. That's all I would do. It was like pretty much, I would always just create music and just kept doing it. And then I got involved in DJing. So I wanted to figure out like how I could get the music I created out there. So I just started doing a lot of mobile DJing, club DJing, just doing parties so I could get familiar, working with people and seeing what different demographics reacted to different kinds of sounds. And once I did that, I just took it from there. It was just like a step by step.
I just took it. Once I did that, I just took it from there. It was just like a step-by-step process until it led to that.
The sound quality is kind of dipping a bit. I'm gonna turn my camera off. You should probably turn your camera off. Hopefully it picks back up.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm on a wireless. To that. Yeah, I'm on a wireless, so that may be affecting it too.
On a what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm on a wireless. Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
How was your dream of how was your dream of pursuing music received by your family?
At first, well, my mom's always been really supportive of it. She was always, and once I did that, I just took it from there. It was just like a step-by-step process until it led to that.
How was your dream of pursuing music received by your family?
At first, well, my mom's always been really supportive of it. She was always, had my back. At first, my dad was apprehensive.
At first, my dad was apprehensive about it, but as time went on, and he's
as time went on, and he saw, us achieving bigger and bigger things, then he started to come around, and now he's all for it. Now he's one of the biggest supporters of it. So, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, if you tell your parents, I'm gonna be a rock star, or I'm gonna do this, they're like, oh, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna get a job, you're gonna do this. It's kind of scary at first because music is one of those industries that it's really hard to make a living off of it. So it takes a lot of preparation.
And you're working and not getting paid at first for a couple of years until you establish enough of a skill set.
And I guess fan base
And or clients to sustain it. So you're really an entrepreneur. You're really an entrepreneur.
You're really an entrepreneur. You're really just taking it
and building relationships. It's a relationship business. So at first they were a little worried.
Yeah, at first they were a little worried.
At least my dad was, but my mom has always had my back. But nowadays they're very supportive about it.
What roadblocks have you hit along the way?
Roadblock.
Roadblocks. Well, when the Maniac All-Stars and we were near the end of that road, we really had no clue what to do because our talent and our skill sets were there. We had the ability, but we were wondering why we weren't getting signed or we weren't getting production gigs or what was happening. So we had no money, anything. We were sharing a room in a house. We were renting one room and sharing it. So everything was really tight. But then we just did our research.
did our, but then we did our research, really tight, did our research and figured out, about marketing and like I was
saying, building relationships and that whole avenue of the music business, and that's when
whole avenue
that whole avenue of the music business
that whole avenue of the music that whole avenue of the music business, and that's when things started, taking off, is once we got better at that. So that was one of the roadblocks. Always one of the roadblocks. Always keeping, I would say always, I would say keeping it fresh, keeping it fresh per se. Keeping it fresh per se. It's like, at least in the artist realm, is at least in the artist realm is
because you have, your fans expect certain, styles and sounds to do, but sometimes you want to experiment and get out of that, not get out of it, but like you want to try something new, and sometimes, that takes, you get a lot of
you get a lot of different takes. You get times, that takes. You get a lot of different feedback from takes, and sometimes, that, sometimes, you get a lot. Sometimes, you get a lot of different feedback from that. That's maybe not the most positive. So that's a roadblock. And then, just right now, since we're do-it-yourself artists, do-it-yourself artists, like, it's actually
a really cool time because, like, nowadays, record labels are dying and stuff like that. Independents are starting to pop up everywhere, and all the tools are available for you to do it. So it's like you can make a choice of do you want to be signed or do it yourself. And I personally like doing it yourself.
And do it yourself. I personally like doing it yourself, or working as more
of like a partnership with a label, because that works out better because then it's kind of more control in your favor.
In your favor, so you control in your favor, so you can kind of go with your vision. But just the ever-changing music industry.
Just the ever-changing music industry is one of the biggest obstacles, I would say.
One of the biggest obstacles I would say, because, like, say once you figure out a tactic to how to.
On SoundCloud, they update the site and it's changed. So it's like, since everything's changing, it's probably one of the hardest things, I would say, obstacles.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
I would say obstacles.
So what? So.
Say obstacles.
So what? So what disappointments have you hit along the way?
See, disappointments along the way. Well, let's see. I'd say, well, some of them is, you'll get to meet artists that you are really passionate about and like, and you find out they're really not who they are. That's always kind of disappointing, because it's all.
because it's always like, aw, it makes you kind of like, sad a little bit inside, especially if you look up to them. That's one of the things. Seeing the behind
things. Seeing the behind the scenes of music makes it, you get to see, how everything to see you get to see makes it, the music, you get to see, how everything really is, and it makes it
seem like
it makes it seem like, I don't know. It makes it not. I'm trying to think of the word or how to explain it. It makes it very overwhelming. It seemed like very overwhelming at times. Seeing
how everything's changing and stuff like that, and being able to adapt. And when you don't adapt right, it takes a big toll in what a lot of the things that you're trying to do. So then you have to get yourself back up and continue moving on, and make a lot of lifestyle changes, with that. So I feel one of the things that
that, and being a feel one of the things that, with that, I feel one of the things that, and being a band style changes. Being a band, like, that's another thing. Being a band, that's another thing. Being a group of people, learning how to work with everyone and things of that nature, that always takes a lot of that nature. That always takes a lot of I could say work, and work takes a lot of work, and trying to do that and trying to do that work and trying to do that sometimes
doesn't work out, and it's just
yeah
out, and it's just it's a struggle sometimes.
out, and it's just out, and struggle sometimes, just just out, and just struggle sometimes to just keep everything together. But all in all, I feel, you need to have your down times to learn from your mistakes so you can keep moving forward.
Do you have what would you say your favorite concert? Let me someone say. What would you say is the favorite concert you've ever been to?
That I've ever been to, or we ever played?
I was gonna say been to, but if you want to go play, that's fine.
Well, actually, it's kind of both.
What would you say is the favorite concert you've ever been to?
That I've ever been to, or we ever played? Played. Played.
I was gonna. I was gonna say been to, but if you want to go play, that's fine.
Well, actually,
Been to.
well, actually, it's kind of both, because I would say Camp Bisco in 2009 was probably my favorite, because we got to play it, which was fun. But then, since it's a music festival and they last for a couple of days,
you get to go and see the other acts. So you get to eat.
you get to eat dinner with you get to eat
dinner with them and everything. So it's like you get to see them.
it's like them and everything. So if you get to see the music, see it being performed. So if you get to see the music, see it being performed, you're vibing out with all. You're vibing out. You're vibing out with all these people and hanging out, and then you get to go and
go talk to the artist afterwards and just hang out and chill. And it was such, like I was telling you before, it was such an eye-opening experience where we learned so much and got to get inspired from all these different artists that we got to meet. Like we got to meet Jamie Marley and talk with him, and we got to Spang.
And we got to with him, and we got to Spangle. We got to hang out with those guys, Younger Brother, the Disco Biscuits, like the list goes on. So Biscuits, the list goes on. So I would say that goes on. So the list goes on. I would say that was one of my favorite experiences.
My favorite experience as far as going out to a concert and just being in that atmosphere. It's a whole different type of concert experience when you're staying there and a part of it as well. So I would say Camp Disco.
Could you share a favorite memory?
Favorite memory was the Metal Gear
The Metal Gear Rising release party when we were DJing. When we were DJing and hanging out.
DJing and when we were DJing and hanging out.
And everything.
Hanging out and everything. DJing and hanging out and everything. And we were hanging out with members of System of a Down, Metallica, and Dragon Force.
Metallica and Dragon Force, and they were just feeling our music and just like coming up and hanging out with us, and then it was just after the game released, and I was telling you before how there was so much pressure, and it was probably one of the hardest things that we ever did, because the timeline for it was so small on how we had to get the production work done, and the production at the time was really cutting edge, so we had a lot of overhead that we had to get done in a small amount of time. We were up for like 48 hours sometimes straight working on things, and then to have that all come together, and then to have that all come together and then see the reactions and then just, the energy in the room of everyone when it was like done, everyone was excited about it, and it was this really amazing, I would say masterpiece, because it's been rated, I'd say top 5, top 10 video game soundtracks of all time. So just to get that reaction after all the hard work is done is probably one of my favorite times. From people that I respect and peers as well.
Favorite times. From people that I respect and peers as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's always special.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's always special when you can get the reaction. You can get the reaction just from other people that are actually your peers and not just
That are actually your peers and not just people that are fans of the game or the movie or whatever the bigger work is.
the bigger work is.
Yeah, indeed. This is just from all people. Like, seeing the fans, that's always awesome. I love when they're happy. And then people that you looked up to and respected for years, and then just the peers and the other people working on it with you, it's just an amazing experience when it all comes together and it works.
What are your dreams for the future?
Right now,
Right now, I feel like we're in a transitional phase right now, which is it's exciting and it's doing solo music, which is kind of more hip hop, glitch hoppy, electronic style music, and then I work with different singers and hip hop artists with. And then as I was mentioning,
as I was men- as I was mentioning before, I'm doing A&R for a record label, so that's always fun. I like
I like developing artists, so like I like finding the new sounds and then help growing them.
sounds and then help growing them in their careers.
So management is definitely looking like something I'm going to be doing in the future. And as far
as the Maniac Agenda future, as far as the Maniac Agenda, keep doing movie trailers and video game stuff. Keep producing that stuff.
and then other artists as well. Like who knows, when someone hears something that we did, they contact us. And just excited to see who we're going to work with next and what new sounds that we can create.
Real quick, what does A&R mean?
Artist and repertoire, which is it's basically your talent scout. You scout out different artists and then you sign them to record deals, and then
or you're kind of like
what's the word? The project you're kind of like the you're kind of like the project man. You're kind of like the project manager. Project manager for an artist on a record label. So your job is to first locate locate talent, find talent that works with what the
label's trying to promote, and then you develop them, and then you go through the different steps with the artist. Like you'll find their producers or the different mixing engineers, or like you'll find the artwork. Like you work with that with them, but your job is to kind of take the project and work with their management team if they have one, and then just get the record to the best it can be in line with what the record label is going for and what the artist is going for. So, and then I'm probably gonna open up a record label myself in the future.
So, and then I'm probably going to open up a record label myself in the future as well.
Well, that's pretty exciting news. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, so
I was just saying, so that's why right now I'm just getting all this.
I'm just why right now I'm just getting all this. Right now it's so that's why right now I'm just getting all this more I'm just getting all this more experience. I'm just getting all this more experience doing it, I'm just getting all this more experience doing it, for the labels and stuff like that, so then I can apply it to my own endeavors in the future when I'm doing, my own record label and things of that nature.
So is there any last thoughts you'd like to share?
Yeah. If you have a dream, Yeah. If you have a dream, go for it and don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. And just go out and do it.
Definitely.
Do something. And just go out and do it.
Definitely. I mean, that's
Yeah.
exactly what you did.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Yep, exactly. So you just gotta take it. So you just gotta take it and just go with it. Like there's gonna be ups and downs along the road, but you know that's what makes life interesting.
But that's what makes life interesting. It's all about the journey as opposed to the destination. Death is the destination, but life is the journey. So just enjoy the ride. Just go through it. And if you want to be, a rock star, you want to be a star, you want to be a producer, you want to be a painter, a rock star.
You want to be a producer, you want to be a painter, you want to do that. Figure out a way to do it. Sit down, get a realistic plan on how to do it, and then go for it. That's my advice.
So, would you like to plug your websites and how people can connect with you? How people how people can and how people and
Hey, what's up? Just editing for Monday. What's up with you?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah? Is it?
so
Okay.
so would you like to plug your websites and how people
Yeah, no, I'll definitely buy it. Do I have to buy the expansion pack? Right. Oh, wow. Okay, that's pretty good. That's understood. Yeah, it's reasonable. Yeah, please do. Right. I remember you saying that. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna have time today. I'm so backed up from yesterday. Uh, Man, so freaking tired. All right. Well, I kind of gotta let you go, man. I gotta get this edit done, and the Eagles already started. All right, man. I'll talk to you. All right, man. Bye.
and how people and and how sites and how people can connect with you?
Yeah, yeah. You can reach us at can reach
Connect with you?
Yeah, you can reach us. You can reach us at on Facebook. The at reach us on Facebook. It is it's Facebook dot it's Facebook it's Facebook it's it's facebook.com/the Maniac Agenda, or you can go to our website, which is maniacmusic.net. Twitter is at the Maniac Agenda, and SoundCloud is at the Maniac is at and SoundCloud is at the Maniac Agenda. And then if you want to email me,
If you want to email me, you can email me on my personal email at sattrax@gmail.com, which is SATTRAX@gmail.com. So I read every email I get. I listen. I love talking with fans and other people and just being social. So feel free to give us a shout.
Very good.
Very good. I will have them all in the show notes at howtodream.co.
all right, thank you. All right, thank you.
And I would love to have you on the show again in like a year or so, and go from and see how you're doing. And see how you're go from and year or so, and see how you're doing, and see how so and see how you're doing.
Indeed, yeah. It's been a while. I remember we met up, like, what was it, 2000? I remember we met up, like, what? I remember we met up, like, what was it, 2005, 2006, somewhere around there, right?
Something like that. I think
Maybe even
05.
2004. Yeah, 05. Yeah. Yeah, 05, 04. So yeah, and now it's been like almost like 9 years. So yeah, I think a yearly update. So I think a yearly. I think a. So I think a yearly update is definitely in the works. I think that could be cool. So there's a lot of catching up to do.
There definitely is.
Yeah.
There
Definitely is.
definitely is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. It was a lot of fun to sit here and just, chat, tell you what I've been up to, and, for the viewers and everything like that, the listeners rather, because, we're on the podcast. So, yeah, man, let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks again, Tony.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Hold on a second. Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks again, Tony. All
right, thank you, Joe.
And after talking to my friend Greg Clunis over the weekend, I would love to add some YouTube testimonials to howtodream.co. So here's the deal. Record and upload your video testimonial to YouTube. Hit the Write to Joe button at the top of how to share it with people you know and love. I hope you all have a magical week. Welcome to the Dream. Welcome to the Dreamers. Welcome to the Dreamers Podcast.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Thank you for joining.
Again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks again, Tony.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Thank you for joining us for this episode.
For a lot of the local artists, where I actually met one of your former guests, Rich Quick, during that time when I was like 10,000 plus people come out to it. They get a lot of
Your time with VH1. What would you say music production means to you?
I would say it's different because if you're producing it's one of those things where you tell your parents, I'm going to be a rock star. It takes, a big toll in times, seeing how everything's changing and stuff like that, and adapt right, it takes. Don't adapt right, it takes, say Camp Bisco in 2009. Since it's a music festival and they last for a couple days, such an eye-opening experience where we learned so much and got to get inspired from all these different artists that we got to meet. Like we got to meet this is just from all people. Like seeing the fans, that's always awesome. And SoundCloud is at the Maniac Agenda, and SoundCloud. The Maniac Agenda and Sound. The Maniac Agenda and SoundCloud is at the Maniac Agenda. If you want to email me, you can email me at my personal email. The Maniac Agenda and the Maniac Agenda and SoundCloud is at the Maniac Agenda. If you want to email me, yeah, indeed. So it's just from all people, like seeing the fans. That's always. Looked up to and respected for years, and then just the peers and the other people working on it with you. It's just an amazing experience when it all comes together and it works. Of America yet, and we linked up with this artist. Like 10,000 plus people come out to it. They get a lot of acts from a lot of different places, and it really showed us like the scope of like electronic. Because at this time, dubstep was not even around or existed. Well, it existed, but it was like more in the UK. It really didn't come into our music. So at that. And then eventually I won a contest soundtrack, the video game, which did really well. It sold millions of copies. Did it with Logan Mader. He's a well-known producer from LA. He was in Machine Head. He was in Soul. Soundtrack, for the video game, which did really well. It sold millions of copies. Did it with Logan Mader. He's a
Hey Dreamers, Joe Pardo here. I hope you all enjoyed episode 100, which came out on Friday. I know I had a great time recording with Al Kessel, and I still can't thank him enough for being there for me. A few quick updates. I added to howtodream.co all the iTunes reviews that you have all been so kind to leave. And after talking to my friend Greg Clunis over the weekend, I would love to add some... Hey Dreamers, Joe Pardo here. I hope you all enjoyed episode 100, which came out on Friday.
when I was working for this record label, Blackout Records, that was, a local hip hop label. And then, I just kept doing it, and then eventually I won a contest